had moved to Spain and he's looking to move back there. So we agreed this morning with him. We've been ongoing over the last number of days, and so basically from our own point of view, obviously like to thank him because we fondly remember him for scoring that goal in the cup final last year, and he was a very popular guy around the place. But I suppose since he came back, opportunities were limited, and I suppose the fact that Graham is getting a lot of goals and Josh has come in as well, and obviously Ronan Cochran probably found it difficult. So the bigger picture, I just felt that a move back to Spain was better for him, and so we wish him all the best on that.
The other loanees, Kieran, the other loanees, John Cannon, and they're back in the fold, and John and Pierce Phillips and... Oh yeah,
everyone's in training and they're all involved. Yeah, there's a few bits and pieces that there's one or two of them, maybe loans might happen at this stage. It's hard to tell if they were happening. I would have thought maybe a couple of weeks ago. And I suppose the biggest problem at this time of the year is why there's interest in some of the lads. The problem is that a lot of the clubs are, financially it's a difficult time and they're under pressure. And from our own point of view, if they're going somewhere, it must be a good move for them. Must be guaranteed to play. And in the ideal world, we prefer to keep them here training and loan them out from that point of view. Whether they go somewhere and play games with train with us, because obviously the full-time setup, it's just better for the fellas to progress. Certainly, obviously we saw Shane Daly bus the other day, so good to get him another, with Cian Murphy, another young fella coming through. He came through UCC, and he's done well in the pre-season games, and we're looking forward to seeing Kenny kick on as well.
Gerard Marcy, John, is he available?
Yes, he's back in contention for tomorrow.
Okay.
Conor McCarthy, just have a look at him. It's probably next week, I'd say, with Conor McCarthy, definitely, yeah.
And obviously Monday night was one of the best performances of the season, especially coming off the back of the European result. Do you think that things are kind of clicking and can improve further for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think if you look at overall, fantastic performance Monday night, got great goals, created lots of chances. I suppose we were spoiled maybe last year over the last 2 years because we have been doing that a lot and getting a lot of goals, and this year when you change your team around, new personnel come in. But at the first part of the season, there was you look at our home form to be excellent. And then we came out after the break, and all of a sudden, as you say, get one or two results don't go your way, people think there's something wrong. But the most important thing is with the Europe out of the way, you can lose maybe a bit of concentration and focus on that. So it's about getting back to basics, and Monday night was a typical Cork City performance, high intensity, high pressure, moving the ball quickly, creating chances, scoring goals, and you're just hoping that was our focus on Monday night. And we know tomorrow's a different night of game, but it's about driving on because you're in the run into the season, and it's up to us to keep the pressure on because it's our league title, and it's there for us to retain it.
And you're coming off a 5-0 win, Bray are coming off a 6-0 defeat, and you've beaten them I think 4-0 twice already this season. Is there any fear of complacency or anything?
Well, it's the crazy thing about sport, that you look at Bray, their last home match to beat Sligo 2-1, so which is 2.5 weeks ago, and you say how could that happen? You look at the results. They've taken 2 draws at home to Waterford, they've beaten Rovers at home. I keep saying, teams like that, and it's been very difficult for Bray, but the one thing about their players is that they're honest and they're decent guys, and the way they've been treated has been scandalous. But at the same time, they'll always go and have a go. And unfortunately, even the game last week, the scoreline in the end looked terrible, and they've lost some players. But at the same time, the 1-0, Gary McCabe back and he was straight through just to make it 1-1. He didn't, and all of a sudden there's 2-0 the other end, and that can happen in games. And so a bit like us the other night, would you normally have a scoreline against Derry? No, you wouldn't. But when you got the second goal and certainly the third goal after half time, it changed the game. So and the thing about Bray is that you go into a ground where unfortunately there won't be much of an atmosphere. The pitch doesn't look in great condition, and so from that point of view, you have to be ready for a game. And I keep saying, after Monday night, the next game is tomorrow. 3 points, driving on and try to keep the pressure on.
You brought off Sean McLaughlin on Monday night to give him a bit of a rest. I think since he's come into the team, he's probably played every every game, probably except the Munster Senior Cup or the League Cup.
Yeah.
Have you any fears about burnout with him, like, or would you consider giving him a rest now? Would you have so many central defensive options?
To be honest with Dennis, Sean McGough was in flying form. He doesn't need a rest. It was more the fact that Aaron Barry had another run for a while. He got the pre-season games, the games against Portsmouth and Burnley, and he done well in those. It was trying to keep him coming because we have a lot of games coming up with the cup, and it was about trying to get Aaron another 20-25 minutes, which was good for him. That was really more so than taking Sean off, because Sean certainly didn't want to come off. But no, there's no fear in that. It's Sean is fit as a fiddle, and he's he can play 2-3 games a week. There's no problem there.
Colin Horgan, is he?
Yeah, Colin's still out. Yeah, still out, and he's working hard, getting back. Had a nasty injury in his foot, and he's back. Unsure yet. The timings. The physios are hoping that he should be back for possibly the second week of August. So, but he's training hard in terms of on his own and with the strength and conditioning lads. He's not involved with us at the moment. He still is under pressure, turning and striking the ball. So we just have to monitor it. But I'd hope that within 2 or 3 weeks he'll be back. But on the other side of that, Beats has got a couple of games on his beat. His injury seems to have cleared up. Johnny is back in the picture. Obviously, the other night he was on the bench. Conor McCarthy back in next week. So that's the other side of that.
I know you're an advocate for it to sit down and have a chat about the league, but the way things have gone this season, it's like highs and lows, and really it leaves a good looking at, doesn't it? I mean, the Bray, the Limerick business, the FAI setting up a fund yesterday without consulting the PFAI, like it's crazy, really. Like. Yeah,
well, I suppose I've been speaking a bit about our league because I'm passionate about it, and unfortunately, as I said, last week or whatever, for 40 years we haven't moved on. Every 2 years we seem to be having these issues, and whereas the strength of a lot of the top teams that are doing very well and making breakthroughs in Europe and selling players and reinventing teams and still keeping the standard up, and then you have the other side of it, which is very disappointing. So I think we all recognise there's issues. Certainly makes no logic for PFAI and the FAI not to be speaking. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we need everyone in this country involved in domestic professional football working together, and certainly it doesn't do anyone any good to see people not speaking to each other or making contradictory statements against each other. So yeah, I think maybe it's got to a time where we all need to see, could this be a watershed season, that at the end of the season that a variety of things will come up for discussion regarding licensing going forward with clubs, working with hopefully people working together. But as I keep saying, unless people are brought into a room to discuss things, that's not going to happen. And as I keep saying, I would hope that managers will be involved and they will be asked to go in and finally we get to a point where we move on and try to make the league a proper professional league, because as I said for the last number of years, I think the opportunity is coming. I think there's a lot of goodwill towards the league on the outside, but we haven't taken advantage of that yet, and I think you need to get to a point where maybe this season might be a watershed, and hopefully it will be, because you just can't go on and continue the way the league has been going on for 30-40 years in this way.
But you need a bit of common sense as well, don't you? And like the World Cup was on this year, there was a set of fixtures on when there were games on the World Cup. Why not move them back 24 hours to a Thursday night? Kenny Shields was very strong the other night, admittedly after a 5-0 beating, that they'd come back from Belarus and then they had to go to Cork. Like, there must be some system that would dictate, who the 4 teams are at the end of the season are going to be in Europe the following season. Why not do something with their fixtures? Well,
I think in the bigger picture there's lots of issues, and there's a lot bigger issues than the fact of a World Cup game against some of the games. I think there's at the end of the day we have clubs and players not being paid and contracts are being offered them, and we end up halfway through a season this happens. So I think there's a lot of big issues. I hope it's not swept under the carpet. I hope that at the end of the season that we will maybe have a conference and managers will be brought in, owners of clubs will be asked to go, and people who have the heart and respect of the league and who want the league to progress, and that people will bite the bullet and attend. I would like to see that to happen at the end of the season, but who knows? I keep saying, I'm only one of the few that speaks out about the league, and I find that extraordinary. But that's just the way it is. So, but you know, I hope it's a watershed moment the way this season has gone. That at the end of this season, this will happen. But you know, we've heard that before, and nothing has ever happened. So we'll have to wait and see.
There's more competition coming down the line. I see the Premiership now is going to be on Friday night on the 10th of August. United and Leicester's on live on TV, so that's more like these are things that need to be addressed now before they become a bigger problem.
Well, I think, as I keep saying, but I think, you know, whatever about a few games on TV, at the end of the day, I think the bigger picture, that there's clubs, you know, halfway during the season folding and not paying players, and it's just not good enough. And I think there's a lot of wide issues, but we have to start go back to basics and setting ground rules where we can't have this scenario going on and players possibly going on strike. We can't have that type of situation. So I think we need to get back to basics. And look, from my point of view, I'd love if at the end of the season that it was a situation, it was a watershed, and everyone was pulled in together, and we all agreed and sat down, and the real people spoke about how to promote our league and do it right. But you know, these are instances we've had for years and years and years, and you know, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me, and there's no glamour in saying that. And because I'm very optimistic about the league, I certainly can see a vision going forward how the league could be fantastic, the way to go. And but at the same time, if we're not going to have high standards, it's not going to happen.
So it's a few weeks away, but you have an eye on the TV last night, so in Rosenborg.
No, my interest is on Bray tomorrow night.
And was there anyone over at the game?
There was. We're just concentrating on Bray.
Okay.
It's the game that's we've quite a number of games before then. So
just back to Bray as well, John. In the next couple of weeks, is it important? I mean, you have a chance to get a little bit of a leap on your main rivals. I mean, is it? It must be so important to take this opportunity now that you have it.
Well, it's important for us, Martin, that we have, you know, we dropped a number of points, and you know, if you drop more, you're not going to be in the title race. And you know, at the end of the day, that was why Monday was so important. Tomorrow is so important to keep the pressure on, because it's coming down to that it's up to us to stay in there. And you know, once we can stay in there and keep the pressure on, it'll go right to the wire, and that's what we need to do. Because ultimately, you know, the opportunity for us is that, well, there's a load of games to go. You know, we have to play each other again, and you know, so you have to make sure that you're in the mix for that reason. So that's why I always say that, you know, you go from Monday night to a situation tomorrow night, everyone just expects, assumes, and it isn't always as simple as that. And you're right saying that even early in the season when we won 4-0 up there, the game was 1-0 for a long time up there, and it was a game where in the end we got 3 goals in the last 20 minutes, which was fine. But so you're right. It's really, I keep saying about ourselves, put the points on the board, keep going, and see. You know, when you get to the end of September, start of October in the run in the last couple of games where you are.